Howdy folks, Windy City Thetan Watch. We're here on a Wednesday in Chicago. It is August 7th. We're on Michigan Avenue, right at Ida B. Wells or the Congress Expressway, heading south. Over the weekend, right, we saw that Lollapalooza was here, and now you're seeing kind of the teardown of that here on the sidewalk. But, you know, Grant Park is fully open to us. Thankfully, it was a good weather weekend, so they probably didn't tear up the grass too much. I know I'm going early, a little bit live, a little bit early. This past weekend, we had somebody who, again, I'm not going to tell you that they're a Scientologist or if they're just a curious person who's a despicable person, but we had somebody come by the org and say, hey, what's wrong with the cult? Well, first they asked Korn if Korn needed some help from Scientology. And then he said, what's wrong with the cult? When I had mentioned that nothing except for the child trafficking or the human trafficking and the child abuse, he goes, I have children, they're not abused, which again is the idea that, well, I'm very grateful that your children are not abused. That does not mean that others aren't abused as well. And you know, if you're so individualistic that you care about your kids and not others, well, good on you, but that sounds a little bit wrong. Then last night, Pinche Becky was watching the stream, and I sent her the videos, and I think we do have an image for this person. Now the downside is you need cryptocurrency in order to pay for this process, the reverse hedging, and I am bonehead stupid about how crypto works, so don't know how I'm going to be able to solve that problem. But we've got that. All right, let's see who we've got in here. We saw Lady E, all the way from South Africa, I believe, or at least Africa. I'm pretty sure it's South Africa. Howdy, Pinche. I was just speaking about you. I think that was the LinkedIn person is the right person. Now I just have to figure out how I can pay for that. Oops, sorry. Howdy, Twyla. Hello, I am the Storm. Howdy, Lexi Ann, welcome in. James, always good to see you. Thanks for being here, Fuzzy. Thanks for modding. Thanks for being such a great supporter. Howdy, me and Taz. And howdy, Cricket. Good to hear that Massachusetts is doing well today. All right, we're, let's see here, 12:35. So they're still going to be mid-lunch. I'm going to head back towards the org now. This is Harrison that I'm coming up on. We've talked about this before, and I know that some of you are tired of hearing me say it, but right, this is a college student-rich environment that's going on here. As I cross the street, this is the Museum of Contemporary Photography. This is part of what's one of the schools of Columbia University, or Columbia College here in Chicago. This is kind of their wall of fame of people who have gone on to do great things and matriculating through here. Thank you, Pitchy. I'll definitely, I'll chat back to you on email on that. Heading back into the city. It's a beautiful day here in Chicago. It's kind of cool, which, you know, love that. We've got the Sears Tower there in the background. A little bit of mural over there, the sky blue element with the moose blowing bubblegum bubbles. We're going to head back across Wabash, State, Dearborn, and get back to the org. I'm cutting a short template, which I'm pleased about. You know, we'll see. I get so ambitious when I cut these shorts, and then it's like, oh, and I just need this and change that. But I think I've got a template there. And I don't know if you saw Aaron's short yesterday, but right, Aaron said his inside sources have told him that there are no new people in Chicago since the building open. And I just want to say, hey, great job to the protesters out here. Corn Freak, Nance Drew, Shannon, Israel, Helgear, Never in Nana, Juanita, Free Xenu Project coming out so often. We've got a lot of people that come from out of state to come and protest here. And I love that there are people that are so dedicated to this. And none of us have ever been in Scientology. We just don't like the abuses of Scientology. And we can't abide by them. And it's very easy for us to protest against Scientology. So, howdy MD Media. Howdy Nita's Nuke. That's a new name to me. If you've been here before, welcome back. If you haven't, welcome in. Oh, folks, let me see if I can be... I cut together a little opening video clip. Let's play that. This is thanks to Declared Dave for having Suno AI write this, but give me 20 seconds. I just want to show you our new intro. We won't let them take control. Guard the streets and guard your soul. When you see things in watch, standing tall, we won't be caught. No code's gonna claim our town. In the breeze, we bring them down. Thank you. Yes, thank you, lady. Please hit that like button, subscribe. Share it if you find that if you think this information will be helpful to others. Just a reminder that I've got the business cards that I carry with me so that I can help hand these out to people who are asking questions, or if maybe Scientology gave them the propaganda, maybe they went into the building without talking to me. Hey, since Scientology handed you something, is it okay if I give you something? So I definitely like to give these out as well. It is lunchtime. I know that there's a downside to me being here at lunchtime. At lunchtime, a lot of the staff members go away for lunch. Now they might grab something and bring it back and eat in the cafeteria, or they might just go out to a restaurant. Yesterday I was in the neighborhood and there's a place here called Melly's Cafe, and I looked in and there was definitely a Scientologist there. One of the people in blue, and again, the color of Chicago has always been gold. It might be changing to blue, but at the end of the day, when you see multiple colors at an org, it's because there are people that are, I'll say, visiting or on loan to, because they can't keep their staff happy and can't keep themselves fully staffed up. So now we're on Dearborn. This is the street that we're going to have the Literary Fest on. I think it's this month. It's sometime in August. Usually somebody in the chat reminds me of how silly I am for not knowing this. Got Dearborn Station. Let me get you out in the middle of the street for just a second. So Dearborn Station is that tall tower down there. It's a defunct railroad station. So trains used to go into that station from the backside. Now all of those train tracks have been converted over to LaSalle Street, so they go into the LaSalle Street station. We're kind of seeing, are there any Scientologists over here getting lunch? They'll sit in this park up here while they're at lunch. From now until the top of the hour, we should see a number of Scientologists returning to the org. As we head over there, we'll definitely see what we can do to get those blinds down. There might be other protesters already out here. And again, I encourage all of you to come out as often as you can. You shouldn't feel good or bad about the idea that, oh, I can only get there once a month, I can only get there once a year. Do what you can, right? That's all we ask. And if you can't get here, right, are there other ways you can support? And just by watching, right? When you watch, I see a Scientologist up ahead of us. When you watch, then Scientology is paying for the ads that are on my channel. So I love that we're being funded by Scientology. As we come down to the bottom of the street, right, we've got a couple of bars here, a wine shop, Flaco's Tacos, and then there's a bodega down here. Person in front of us just walked out of the bakery coffee shop. We have seen Scientologists try to dip in there to get out of the view of the camera, not realizing that cameras can see very well through non-windows. But we've seen the body routers kind of go in there and then try to duck out the back door in that space. So coming down to Polk Street. Let's see if I can get around here real quick. Now we'll head back over to Clark Street. We'll be at the bottom of Clark Street and head up to the org. Folks, if you'd like to contact me, get an opinion on what you might need as equipment, what you might need to practice, things that are useful to say, definitely let me know. Ooh, I've got a Scientologist coming at me, and I think they've got flyers. Nope, it's a bottle of water. So he's probably heading out to lunch. Oh, no, it is flyers. We'll go find him in a minute. Anything positive to share about your cult? Nothing positive about your cult? You don't want to share it with us today? So I've got to talk a little bit here to get past the music. Now, in the past, I feel like he's tried to lure me away from the org. I'm going to sit down here a little bit. I do want to get the windows closed. And then I'm going to go back out and see if we can find him. It's usually not that hard to find somebody in a dark suit on a beautiful sunny day. Trying to pay attention to if he's going straight through to Michigan Avenue or not. Now, there's all kinds of, again, I always wonder if I'm just conspiracy theorying myself, but, right, was he sent out because OSA knew that I started my stream and OSA didn't want me to come near the org? Or is it, again, just so happens he was going out anyhow? It is odd that he's starting his tour right now because it is the middle of lunch. And time is something that is rather important to Scientology. So historically, they give you your lunchtime. Now, you're supposed to be back when lunch is over. So they're very fastidious about making sure that you honor those times, but they usually give you that time. I'm curious, the fellow here in green, what he's trying to do here. He's out in front of Scientology right now. I don't recognize the one in black.
That was like done.
We do have the blinds down. Okay, there's a custodial worker. No. Yeah, it was a custodial worker. So a custodial worker there. We've got an administrative person sitting there at the front desk. There's 6 or 8 people over here in the cafeteria. I know you're seeing the glare off of my book. Oh, and I see we do have another Scientologist down there. So Style Audit 1A is out today. I don't know if you see, but there's a high five going on right there. Anything positive to share about your church? Nothing positive about your cult? Uh, I must not have eaten well or slept well last night because my SP powers are not so awesome right now. Now, we did see somebody else just walk in, another staff member walk in, and usually they'll come up here and try to help out with pulling the shades. You can see how empty it is in here, right? So it's understandable to know that Scientology doesn't have any new members here in Chicago. So let's see. It's hard for me to get very close, just because if I touch it, then they're going to try and get me for trespassing. But what you can see in this first bank is you're going to see the early life of L. Ron Hubbard, the writer. Over on this side, you're seeing L. Ron Hubbard, the early years as an explorer and the Navy. And then as we move further back, you're going to see Way to Happiness, then Dianetics back there. On this side, let's see, the first one here is the Scientology Network. So this is going to be the DirecTV just playing over and over again. Yeah, I was talking about that this morning. So, okay, so we've got them initiated. They're pulling down the blinds now. Oh, this one's stuck. He's struggling with it. I am going to work that into a couple of my shorts, showing that. Are you okay that women can't report sexual abuse against them if it's committed by a member of this church? Doesn't that seem wrong? That a woman can't come forward to the police here? Let's kind of see where she's headed. Just has that stare, right? The zombie glaze. So now we can see that the cult of Scientology really can't stand up to the light of day. And they're pulling all their shades down. Howdy, Style Audit. How are you doing today?
I cannot figure out how to get light on my Streamlabs, but I can always film.
Yep.
And we would love today to give people free psychic doodle readings. Free psychic doodle readings. Step right up, doodle a few minutes, I will give you a free reading.
No, Dave was ineffective last night. He was a Scientologist last night. Couldn't get anything done. All right. I did see the guy go out, and I think he's heading down towards State Street. So I'm going to go over there real quick. But we did just bring the blinds down, and then I'll be back. All right. You've seen him out here routing?
I may not be live. Maybe I'll just have to.
Just keep on static streaming. Yeah, keep on static streaming, and we'll upload them.
Meanwhile, join my new religion.
Psychic Doodletology. Nice.
Don't you want to save the world?
Right. We all want to save the world. That's awesome. All right. Now that I've got the blinds closed, let's see if we can go shag down the body router. I've got a little chance to get across the street here. We'll do a fake jog. You're going to hear me breathing a little bit heavy. But let's make up some time, get ourselves over to Michigan Avenue. There was, so as we saw here, there really was nobody in there, right? That public walked in, didn't really have any care or concern about the idea that women can't report when they've been victimized by a member of the cult. Now, again, we get a little bit of a struggle here. I'll go out to the street. Um, again, I will play the stupid conspiracy theories against myself. Is somebody in Scientology, we know that it's probably an OSA person or an executive of Sea Org that would be able to watch the videos. By the way, hi OSA, how you doing? I hope you were able to get a clear shot of the scan code. Head over to any of those documents and you can read all about your abuses and the way that you terrorize your members. Ha! That Scientology will always claim that people have a choice. They don't have to disconnect. But it's a bounded choice. And by a bounded choice, that would be the same thing as a school teacher saying that a student wanted it, right? Because of the position of authority and because of the control that is implied by the teacher-student relationship, that's not a free will choice. So it's unfair and unethical to say that people are allowed to choose. You can choose to Scientology or you can choose to leave. If you leave, you have to give up all relationships with your family. So again, it's a free choice, but it's a bounded choice. And the idea that says, yeah, it's up to you to leave, but there will be consequences if you leave, and we will make sure to enforce those consequences. Now, when you saw the body rotter come with me, the guy with the suit. Now he had a backpack on, and he had a very, very thick stack of flyers. Usually they're all out here with an inch of flyers, but he had easily 2 inches of flyers. Now I've got to be a little bit more cautious here. I'm looking both ways. I'm just kind of scanning up and down the street to see if I can find if he diverted from a straight path. There'll be a little bit of a challenge for me to find him, but hey, we need to get our steps in anyhow, right? I think I'm going to have to do a little bit of help with Style Audit 1A to help her get her streaming on. Now, she uses Streamlabs. I don't know how Streamlabs works. I'd have to kind of dicker around with it for a bit. Folks, hopefully you saw, last night we did a speed run the past weekend. And like I said, we saw the despicable person who thought that human trafficking was okay. And as long as they don't traffic his kids, and as long as they don't abuse his kids, then the cult of Scientology can do whatever they want to. The other thing that we thought was very just despicable again, when we explained to him that Scientology has told family members that their father is dead, only to see their father 20 years later on film, camera, whatever we want to talk about here, he laughed. And then he said, oh yeah, I'm the dad, right? Because it's cute and funny to talk about how somebody, how the organization he belongs to will lie and deceive a family member just so that they can keep the two apart, right? I think I did get a good one out to, like I said, Pinche Becky was very, very helpful. She did find the one of the reverse image magical tools. And I do think that we found the person. We see their LinkedIn profile, but then naturally, in order for you to get more details about it, it's behind a paywall, and the paywall is cryptocurrency. And I'm going to have to work with Pinchy after that, after the stream, And by the way, I probably won't get till tonight. Got to go back and work with clients today. Um, so yeah, we'll see what we can do there. You know what? I might post the LinkedIn that I have and just see if the person happens to be in anybody's LinkedIn network. Now, what I did do is I started kind of finding some known names, like Joe Sakala is on LinkedIn, to see if there's a connection there. All right, so now we're to Michigan Avenue. I'm still struggling to, again, I'm trying to find the tall guy in the suit with his gray background. We're going to wander a little bit. You're going to see a little bit of the city. Yeah, Lady Jane, that's exactly what I was speaking to. When we were confronting that person in front of the org, it was the Liz Ferris, Bob Ferris story, right? So Laura's story wasn't quite as despicable, but Laura's story is terrible, right? That Laura FM has not seen her father for ages, and but she wasn't told that her father was dead. She knew that her father was somewhere in the org, just didn't know where. And a month, 2 months ago, during a protest, there was some celebration going on in Scientology, and we saw Laura's father bussing dishes back to the kitchen. So he is galley staff at the org in Hollywood. All right, I'm looking down here. I'm going to head south again, and the only reason I'm doing this is that on Monday, when he was wandering, he did go south. Uh, we'll have to see what we got there. And by the way, folks, if you have any contact info for Liz, reach out to her. Just give her some love. She's in a tough spot, both financially and health-wise. She's struggling, and she can use all the love that we can muster. Yeah, tomorrow night you've got Natalie with Declared Dave. Last night, Dave went through OT1 and OT2 with me. OT2, so it seemed like there was some rigor to OT1, and then OT2 was rather simple, other than the fact that then you had to do exercises for quite some time afterwards. Now, one thing that that body riders have been known to do is, jump down into the train stations, and they might be on the platforms, or they might even just go to different train stops on the train station, or once they get into the train system. Yeah. Like most transit locations, once you get into the train system, you could basically stay there all day long, right? That the platforms can transfer without having to go back and re-ticket. There are Scientologists that live in this area as well. I've come across them as they were coming to or from lunch. It just so happened I was eating lunch here on Michigan Avenue and saw the uniformed member. And so it wasn't, they were not followed back from the org. I've just never had any desire to follow a Scientologist who doesn't have flyers. Now, there is a person with a vest and the white shirt in front of me. I just can't tell if it is or isn't a Scientologist yet. Looks like they're holding hands, so that would be unlikely. I'm looking over into the park as well. Not really seeing anybody over there. So that's just a well-dressed man. He's got the right colors, but doesn't have the tie, doesn't have the piping on his suit. Doesn't have any pins. He had a kerchief. That's just not the dress or the uniform that we'll see there. Yeah, folks, you're seeing one of the challenges that I have, right? Because um, if when I'm out here on my own, I have to make decisions, right? Do I go back to the org and make them close the blinds, or do I follow the body router? I will tell you that following the body router, it's more fun to me, but it's a one-on-one retail reaction or relationship that happens there. That when I'm able to capture a piece of propaganda, I feel good about it. I feel good about what we've done there. It makes great news. I think it's exciting for the audience, but it's really kind of solving a one-person problem. Whereas when I close the blinds, anybody that walks past the org right now, while those blinds are closed, has no desire to go in, right? Why do I want to? This place looks closed. Why do I want to go in here? Hey, Lady Jane. Yep. I, I don't think there's anybody that doesn't love Liz, and I think that there's all kinds of stories that are spun after that. But yeah, I agree that yes, we all love Liz. We want Liz to get better. She already has suffered a great deal of her life at the hands of this cult. She's had other um, issues with addiction issues, which easily could be caused by the cult. But regardless, there were tragedies that befell her. I wish that if you potentially said something that was even halfway in an indictment or a questioning her, that you're on a we they board right now, right? And there should be no we they in anti-Scientology. I think that's true of Aftermath and SPTV Foundation. Someday I'll say this: if it was easy to do, I would put like a GoPro on a ball cap or something like that, so that when I'm moving my head back and forth, we could do a dual cam. I just don't know on a phone, how much you get out of that, because it's probably really tiny pictures. One of my favorite places here, Burger Bar. We are at Roosevelt and Michigan Avenue. Ah, we found him. So underneath the Aurelio's banner, we've got the Scientologist. I do have my body cam. So, hey, Osa, you've got a guy out here just clocking time. He's not passing out his flyers. He's not doing his tour. Right? Don't want to be the narc, but why are you paying this person to come out here and stand in the shade? Aurelio's Pizza, it's an old chain here it's a family-owned restaurant here in Chicago. The first stores were down in Homewood and Frankfort, Illinois. Those were near where I grew up. One of my first jobs was delivering pizza for Aurelio's. But here, again, we've got the body router just kind of stalled out here. Fuzzy pink using the got 'em emoji. I think it's kind of going back to the Liz story, that it's so disingenuous to say that Nora doesn't love Liz, right? I will tell you this: there have been people in this community that have tried to cancel me, And I've told you all along, I won't ever talk personally about that person, but yeah, they've done some bad actions, right? And I don't like their actions. That doesn't mean that I think that we need to put him on a cross and you know never think of him again. It is it's the actions, and we should be able to talk about negative actions, right? Howdy, crazy, love is love. So we've got our body router on the move now. Osa might have called him and said, "Hey, what are you doing? We're paying you. Why aren't you passing out flyers?" Based upon the size of the stack, I can't tell you whether or not he's been able to hand anything out or not this whole time. You will know that I give him a great deal of space. I have a body camera that is also recording. So if as long as I'm facing towards him, how you doing? I love that. Can you record us? Don't put us in no. It's like, I'm always intrigued by people that come up to a camera to protest against it. This is just my style. I have no desire to really confront this person. Um, I don't think that I'm going to be able to talk him out of Scientology. I do like to give him challenging statements, but I'm more interested in or invested in making contact with anybody that he hands a flyer off to, right? And if he hands a flyer off, which by the way, he can't hand a flyer off right now. He's got his flyers in one hand and his phone in the other hand, right? This is an incredibly ineffective person right now. Absolutely inept in regards to what he's doing. Now, if what he's doing is just leading me away from the org, yeah, then maybe he is doing okay. You know, that more often than not, they'll go out in pairs. And the reason they go out in pairs is because it is a snitch society, right? And that you can't throw the flyers out because your partner or your twin will narc on you, right? Now, this guy out on his own, he's a nice, clean-shaven guy. Maybe he's higher up in the org, right? There is a hierarchy to staff. If you look at the org board, it's not a flat organization, right? There are bosses and supervisors and all of that kind of thing. So maybe he's somebody that they consider trustworthy. There have been times in the past where I have seen single persons, right? The person in the very thin person, which again, we haven't seen him for probably a month and a half. Um, he would go out on his own. We've seen them lure me away all the way up to like Navy Pier. Yeah, it's kind of nice here in Chicago today. Jump across the street here real quick. What'd be really ironic is if he's calling his mom, right? And talking to family. But we know that's not really what's going on here. It's highly unlikely he's talking to his girlfriend, right? He is probably talking to somebody up or down chain from him and just giving him information about me. He might be talking with somebody who is curious and made a phone call and said, "Hey, can you tell me about Scientology?" The reason that would be very odd would be that you're not supposed to talk about Scientology. Um, you're supposed to tell them to read a book. You're actually supposed to go spend some money and buy a book and then read that book. So he's walking through the Jewel parking lot right now. Guy selling some retail, probably CHB or cannabis oils or vape juice. Very fortunate. None of that ever took with me. You may have heard the story before, but like when I was 9 years old, stole my mom's cigarettes and was smoking them. My parents found out and they made me smoke an entire pack. Having smoked the entire pack in one sitting as a 9-year-old, you get the impression that smoking might not be a good thing. Yeah, I think that Canada is being our refrigerator today. So Canada is forcing some cold air or buffering us from the warm air that's coming up. So he's just gotten off the phone and he's crossing the street. See if I can get a shortcut up there. We'll see if we can get around the corner real quick. Again, I take a wide berth around these corners because they do have a trick of trying to double back. They will have the trick of doubling back, right, and create the incidental contact, and that's enough to create a false charge or a false claim. Again, a reason why I feel it's very important that I'm wearing the body camera to give me the protective evidence that, yeah, I did not approach them, they approached me. Now, there's, in my head, two things are kind of going on right now. It's a bit of a waste of time, and are they sending somebody out that, did he intentionally lure me away? I would say that, he couldn't have thought that I would have found him, but, naturally I did find him. I've been fairly good at being able to hunt them down. And folks, for the police, I'm using hunt in the figurative manner. We'll head back to, I don't know if we're going to head back to the org or not, but we'll see where he goes. Oh, as I was saying, that there's a part of me that says, okay, am I kind of wasting time here? But there's another part that says, well, he's wasting time too. And again, I can only do what I can do. This is a person that is not being an effective body rider right now. And I'll take that, right? It'll be the small W that we get in that this particular person has been ineffective in trying to recruit anybody at the Church of Scientology today. He does have a large stack of flyers. He has attempted to pass 0 off. He has never touched the stack of flyers with his other hand. Again, I find it hard to believe that he's out here trying to actually be an effective body rider. Now, the other news is that we've got Style Audit 1A over by the org. And as I've said before, if there are other protesters out here, there's another set of eyes. And while she's not streaming right now, when I do get back to the org, I'll be able to figure out, did they send other people out when I was waiting for, or when I was out here following this guy around? So hopefully you're enjoying the tour of Chicago. You oftentimes hear me talk about Dearborn Park. This is the only vehicular entrance to Dearborn Park. So you can get into Dearborn Park about 6 different ways as a pedestrian. There are sidewalks and bridges that let you into that neighborhood. But the only way to drive into that neighborhood is right here at State Street. There is a sister neighborhood just south of it, Dearborn Park 2, and it has the same thing. So 14th Street is where you can drive into that. And here you're driving in at 9th Street. Thank you, Susie. And again, a lot of times I'm guessing, and I have to guess, and I just have to hope that my guesses are better than their guesses. If you ever want to see what it's like to visit the neighborhoods that the CTA trains are on, you can watch Windy Wanders the City. He did look back as he rounded the corner. So, you know what? He is going to head over, and I'm only 2 blocks away from the org, so I'm going to take a pass past the org real quick. We've found that he's really not trying to be an effective router today. Oh, sorry. So let's go back and see if there's any activity in the neighborhood, right? It's 20 minutes after 1 o'clock. So we might be seeing that there are other people in the neighborhood trying to hand out flyers. Howdy, Helgear. Good to see you. I mentioned you a little bit earlier that, right, Aaron had a short yesterday, and on his short, the proclamation was that he's got people on the inside, and there have been 0 people who have started Scientology out of the Chicago org since this building opened up on March 3rd. So kudos to us as the protesters, and kudos to reasonable human beings understanding what a batshit crazy organization this is. But they've been entirely ineffective in recruiting durable new members in the space. Helgear, you, Korn, Nance Drew, Style Audit 1A, who's out there today, Never in Nana. There are several protesters who are not streamers who have been out here protesting. Right? And we've got some protesters that have moved away from protesting. We haven't seen Trashy or SRA in a while. I think that their interests are just different right now. This is awesome to see. Fellas teaching young kids how to play chess. Yeah, it was a fun AMA. I made no clips last night. I was streaming for quite a while yesterday, and needed to give myself some rest. So something you may or may not realize is, right, usually after a stream, if there's more than one person on it, when the stream shuts down, the people will chit chat for a little bit. So, oh yeah, Juanita, and I don't know how to say the name of her channel, but you can see the channel there. Thank you, Fuzzy. Heading back over to Clark Street. Got a garbage can coming out of the alley. If you watch Windy Wanderers, you'll notice that most of Chicago is serviced by its alleys. So the customers and the residents come in the front door, and then the service and the deliveries usually come in the back door. I'm looking down. There's a couple of people outside the imprint, but they're just in civilian clothing, so no real indication that they would be Scientology. Yeah, keep making fun of me, Fuzzy, and I'll keep on naming other channels. I'm going to wear out your fingers. Folks, how about a hand for Fuzzy, right? Just working her butt off, making sure that we're broadcasting as many channels as possible, making the circle of protesters larger and larger. Hello. Anybody come out or no?
I just, said a lot of things and offered them all the wonderful things like cowbell baiting and
Nobody took you up on the offer?
increased mental powers of doodling.
Nice.
I had a list, but no one took me up on my offer, and I could not figure out how to use Streamlabs at all. I tried so hard, and I just had too much stuff without knowing what I was going to do. But I did walk by. But are you going?
Yeah.
I have a favorite. That's all.
Okay.
Flyers, and I
Gotcha.
saw a bunch of them.
And it would have been lunch, right?
There's
that they would have
a
been.
guy with a lot of dreads who's in a suit.
Yeah.
Very dapper with the vest and everything.
Okay.
And I think he's associated. And I tried to entice him to my doodle reading and tell him how much he needed it.
Yeah.
But
he was uninterested.
He wasn't able to do
Nice.
that, so.
Cool. And I do have to go back to clients, but I'm going to walk past real quick. I think that the person that's out there body riding right now, he's really just trying to keep me away from the org.
I was going to go back to my method of transportation, but I don't want to be followed.
Yep.
So perhaps I will walk halfway with you.
That'll work. All right. Got Style Audit out here. If you're not subscribed, make sure you're over in Style Audit 1A. She's out allowing people to doodle, draw, and then she'll do a reading about their drawings.
And Wendy, I just want to point out I have on my sailor piece.
Nice. Very nice.
So I can be petty officer style.
And yes, she's got her CR uniform, her dress whites on today. Or in the, what was it, A Few Good Men. Here, put this camo on. When you're wearing white, the people across the fence will want to take a shot at you.
And they got the buttons and everything.
Yeah.
See? It's sailor piece.
Nice. Very nice. Style audit is showing her style. Now this is interesting. It is behind the the chalk or the caulk. I thought that their sandwich board was outside, and they can't be outside, right? Because they don't pay the fee to be outside. You need to pay an advertising fee in order to put a sandwich board out on the sidewalk. But as you can see, Scientology is still locked up. Oh, look at the messy handprints here. I don't know if maybe you get the angle there. You won't see it there, but there's all kinds of handprints or fingerprints all over the glass here.
Don't belong to a false religion. Join psychic doodleology.
Style audit giving them some fun. So on Wednesday evenings at 6 o'clock, there is a special element that goes on here, or a special meeting. It's very vague, but I was able to, when Indigo Twin went in, she came out, I'm sorry, Indigo Twin is they, identifies as they. Indigo Twin, they came out as, so here we've got one of the Scala brothers, and then another person. Now they went from the basement and they're going all the way up. Anything positive to share about your church? What have you done for human rights today, Chad? Right? Are you allowed to talk about the church? Does your cult let you talk about your cult? No? Yes. So the gentleman just walked by and said, hey, keep going. So this is the stance that I always want Scientology to know. You can have your empty building all you want. I love, someday you'll end up paying taxes on this, but I love that you've spent all this money, and this is how easy it is to close you off from the public. All right. Hey, Fuzzy, I do have to head back to a client. So if we've got anybody out there that we can go help stream with, that would be awesome. I'm going to take off style. So I gotta go back to head to clients. So
I'm going to turn at the corner.
all right, no problem. So we're heading up the street. So just so everybody's clear, there are two Chadwicks here that we talk about, right? So the one right there, his name is Chadwick Olson, and he started as a full suited staff member all the time, and then we would see him in his red T-shirt underneath the sports coat, and now he's back to the shirt and tie underneath the sports coat. But this is not Chadwick Burke. So there's Chadwick Olson, the one that we just saw, and Chadwick Burke, who we have not seen since a week before the first court date for boobgate or boobtology. All right, we've got our winner. We're going to go visit Mindy Willens. Style was here the last time we saw Mindy Willens, but if you can, all head over to Mindy Willens.
Mindy is so awesome and so cute, and I love her little opening song.
Nice. I'm a big fan of Mindy as well. Because I'm gonna go straight. If you're turning here, right?
Yes.
I don't want to go anywhere near a vehicle or anything like that, so I'm gonna go straight ahead. All right. Thanks. Take care now, Style.
See you.
Bye bye. Thank you so much. All right, folks. I thank you all for being here. I know that we didn't really see it. We caught the body rotter out there doing nothing, right? Spending LRH money and Scientology money on nothing. So, hey, all of you Scientology publics who are spending all your money and donating, did you notice that your guy is just standing there at the corner, not doing anything, right? Totally ineffective in his duties, not growing Scientology. Just saying. But maybe you guys are right. Who knows? All right, everybody. Have a great day. Head over to Mindy. Tell her I said hi.